Definitely do. And by the way, just to have a little bit more fun with our predictions, Oxygen and Rebel. Okay, I'm going to throw it out there. I was going with Rebel in that series. Okay, I think Rebels is going to win. Rebel is going to win that as well, and as good as Oxygen is. I think Rebel's even better. Who are you going with there?
Hey, you know I was going with Rebel. My man Identives, he has the heart. I think he has the soul for it as well. But INZEM got the kill on the Rushiez, and DeToX immediately takes him out. They get the early control over that hill. Some early points like you've seen Digital and a few teams do early on.
All right, well, let's get it started here. Rise and Hive, the match that I know I was anticipating. I really wanted to see this one. Franchise as well during his segment on his Twitch, and he had a great segment, guys. You got to check him out on Twitch. Loved it. Dude had me like just cracking up, man. He was roasting one guy though. I mean, I'm not gonna say the name because he got it. He got an earful yesterday, but Fran was going in. That Savage Fran really coming out since his retirement. Maybe it was always there. I really don't know because I've never met any of these guys in person, sadly. But hey, Rise off to a great start, 40-0, and you can see that kind of rotation now starting to come into play. They got to challenge player number 7 first, Solurs. He's gonna die here either way you look at it. Yeah, it's gonna be a waste.
You wait for them now you can kind of shoot the boom. You have the guy under you weak. That's gonna possibly be a double kill on the Solurs. Yes, I was about to say, great plays by Rise. They're gonna get both of those kills, push up. They have the man advantage with the spawn. You see the spawn coming through at the top side. They're gonna be able to get a few numbers there to try to get some damage. TJ's gonna back up, try to reunite with his teams, but he gets crossed down. Avexys trying to go for the kills, and he bites up more than he could chew. Demise takes him out.
And takes him out indeed. It's going to be great for Hive now, potentially to gather some more points, but as soon as I set that up, they're gone. As Rushiez hit a beautiful connection, I think a double kill with the instant to get those players off that back cover. Avexys hiding in the shadows, takes down Demise, and should be able to take down INZEM. Things are getting a bit weird here. Can he? Hello, Avexys, very well done. Awkward fight, but hey, he gets the job done.
You saw the high five right there? That's much respect. They try to high five each other like the UFC fighters do before the match. Good game. But 95 point plus and counting, possibly going to eclipse the 100+ point mark. Hive, they're having such a slow start right now, but their deaths are continuously being staggered. I'm talking about TJ being one of the big driving forces for Hive. He gets taken out, and another hill being dominated by Rise, and already you see them breaking out. They're going to give up the spawn point because they want to get ready for what is the next hill.
My eyes don't deceive me, and they don't deceive you either. Rise is up 118-0. So did they come to play today, Jacob? I think they did, brother. They're looking incredible, and they don't look like they're pumping the brakes anytime soon.
Not at all. And there's one of those dangerous teams, like I said. DeToX just kind of, I don't want to say it gives them just a new life. It gives them a new look. It's just a better way to do it. It's just a team, like I said, yeah, they're not one of those teams that'll hold on to a hill. They'll hold on to position. DeToX will go ahead and take that position. He'll take that hill, even if he doesn't need it. Solurs gets taken out. That's going to open up that window of opportunity towards the low side. You see Avexys already filling that gap with Instant over the top, narrowly missing onto INZEM, but Rushiez just created a distraction. IC takes him out, and that is just unbelievable trust between Rise.
Oh man, that trust runs deep, and that trust was there even when Fran was on the roster. You know, you got it still the core 3. IC's, Rushiez, Avexys. You talk about the history of DeToX joining back onto Rise, playing alongside that of Avexys. You just got some big duos, right? IC's and Rushiez, who won. I was talking about Kenny earlier playing with Franchise on that Reciprocity roster, right? IC and Rushiez were there too. They won 2 championships back-to-back off the start of Gears 5 competitive. You got DeToX and Avexys, obviously, who have competed alongside each other, brothers in arms for the longest time. The DNA on this roster runs deep. There's a lot of chemistry here. And you can see it, kind of is exemplified and really being represented well in their performance in Pro League. Currently undefeated, the only undefeated team whenever it comes to Pro League so far. And with the way that they're playing here on District Control, they might keep that record undefeated.
That was a nice bait and switch coming through, but 15 seconds right now, a little ill-advised to kind of go for this amount of time, but DeToX takes one out. Avexys gets one as well. And in the later portions, obviously this could turn around and bite them in the behind depending on where they spawn, but Avexys knows it. He grabs the spawn point, forces them out. It's going to be the first line of defense.
All right, first line of defense. Will he be able to hold his ground? Maybe so. Avexys hitting some nice shots on the TJ. From the flank, though, is DeToX, and into the blender. TJ and Demise will go, giving more points to Rise. The rich get richer, and Ben, I hope we're not about to see the worst loss I have witnessed on Control between these two great teams.
You need to tell me now, what is the worst loss? I need to have it in my head so I can curse it.
I'll be honest with you, I wasn't ready for that question. I think the worst loss, if I want to say, is like 50 or 60 points. And I'm going to have to go back in my notes, but it was a while ago.
At least they're not shut out so far. At least don't. Oh, okay, that was a nice boom. DeToX gets taken out. He was the one gaining the points, but over 200 plus points right now. Another player's going to fall on Icy. Instant being used by Avexys taking out. That's 3 players dead. This is looking good for Hive in terms of the eliminations this late in the game, but they have such a score line to overcome. They need to continue to play perfect here. With all this time, they'll get at least 50 points on the board, but Rushiez pushing in. Big down onto Demise. Revive's coming through, and there goes the elimination. And there goes possibly too many. Had to reload. Rushiez gets taken out. TJ goes ahead and wins that exchange, but it's not over just yet. Now it's Icy's turn. He's a new challenger, and Icy takes him out and gets control of possibly the last 10 seconds if he wants it.
So I stand corrected. When it comes down to the worst beatdowns, there's actually 2 that are tied for the worst beatdown, and it was 300 to 90. So not 50 or 60 as I was thinking, but 300 to 90, and that hasn't happened since I believe the first week of Pro League. So Hive, you got to step up your game because Rise, they retook this hill with ease.
And making it look easy right now. They're in way of eliminations and way of spreading out their numbers. They kind of give up that low spawn side, but they have the actual spawn deep into the back. So they need to get some smokes and flashes back there to try to neutralize Icy. Rushiez gets that first down, which is going to be big. INZEM's getting 1v2 towards the outside. First down coming through, unable to be cleaned up. Quick revives by DeToX and Avexys reunited at last. Rightfully so. They finish off that elimination. Avexys gets another down into spawn, trying to be the hero here. Big shots, and he gets another elimination. Rise, hold on yet again, get the revive, and they're gonna get all this time. They're gonna go one step away from closing this one out. I think it's 294 of uncontested time.
Yeah, this is getting out of hand. Like, this is ridiculous at this point. You got to pick up those kills, Solurs. Hey, Icy takes you down. Fair enough. It is what it is. But do you get away with the boom? Demise has it in his hands, full red, and he'll stay up for the time being. TJ's going to hit a nice shot onto Icy, and maybe Hive is starting to gain some momentum. I don't know. 5 is going to challenge a bit late. He's going to be finished off, and Rise continues to gather those points. I don't think they win off of this hill. I don't know how much time is left. I see the next up, and there it is. Rise will stop at 289, but if they can get this hill pretty quickly, I mean, to keep Hive below 50 points, I know the 100-point club exists over in Hardpoint and Call of Duty, but I don't even think there's a name for a 40-point club.
I'm trying to think of something, but luckily they're going to pass that 40-point club. I don't have to think too hard into this one as Hive. They're just trying to do what they can. They're getting that spawn point. Rise knows how important that is towards the backside. Demise getting stunned, unable to use the boom shot to get a multi-kill, but uses it just in the nick of time. He gets out one. TJ gets taken down. Rise get into the hill again. They're about to win this series. The map, I should say. 95. Oh, Demise needs to go. He's not going to be close enough. Just a few seconds left. And Rise complete the beatdown over Hive, taking map number 1.
Yikes. Yeah, that is... All right, hold on. Let me get a quick glimpse of the scoreboard. It's about to pop up real quick. I mean, I don't even know where Hive even... Did someone drop a goose egg? It wouldn't surprise me. That was... I mean, elimination's okay. So, Demise, the only one in double digits. Everybody else, 7, 7, 9. Yeah, that's bad. That is not good. 300 to 53, ladies and gentlemen. I said 90 was the worst beatdown. Well... and Clayton on Twitch is saying maybe 300 to 48 is the worst he's seen. Fair enough. I'm thinking there was one lower, but this one takes the case at least for Pro League. 300 to 53, not the start we needed for what I deemed as the match of the day, the match of the week potentially.
Did I already say a happy birthday, Reem? I think they want to close this one out. I think they want a birthday dinner with Reem afterwards. Welcome to Rise's world, Hive. This is not GTA. This is Gears Esports, and you guys are living in a nightmare. And you can kind of see this was a great play by Avexys, like I said. You don't use it on Solurs down low. Basically getting 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I think... Rise, really all members across the board got 2 for the price of 1 and multiple times. Like, there was just nothing Hive was able to do collectively. And Rise, yes, the slaying power was there, but one of the things that's scary about picking district control, and I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that Hive picked this map. Yeah, they did. Hive picked this map to start off with. It's a scary thing to think about because Rise is such a great... They were already a great district team. This is one of their best maps, in my opinion, for Escalation. and it continues to be one of their best maps for control. Regency control is right in line with that. Training grounds, still, I think the jury is out on that one in terms of like how good they are in training grounds, but at least for district, I think that's their strongest. Regency would be their second strongest, and then training grounds would be their third. But I mean, come on, that was just not a good pick overall. I would have chose anything, but hey, it is what it is. Map number 1 is done with. Now you got to let that go and head into Clocktower Execution, which I hate to say it again, but just like District Control, Clocktower Execution is a phenomenal map for Rise.
No, it definitely is. I said it. The possibility of Rise going up 2-0 is just through the roof. And honestly, it's going to be scary because we know in some of these rounds on Clocktower, you send 4 players up top. They can end in 30 seconds, but before you know it, in less than 30 minutes, we can have a 2-0 lead for Rise. But it's also one of those maps where Hive can play it right. They can create some chaos, confusion within smokes to go ahead and out-aggress Rise in some of these rounds to get that sniper out, because we know they have some good snipers on their teams as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they can bounce back. Honestly, they really need to shrug that one off, pretend like it never happened, and move on to the next map, because Hive, that was a beatdown. I don't want to say new record, but man,
no, that's
got a new record. Yeah, we got a new record. Enter your 3 initials, RIS.
That is 100% a new record for a beatdown, 353. Like I said, you know, Clayton saying 300 to what, 48? Fair enough. I don't remember that, but at least whenever it comes to Pro League, 100%, or at least in my eyes, yeah, this was definitely a beatdown. So hey, fair enough. Well done for Rise. But let's talk about Execution Clocktower. Why is Rise, in your eyes, so strong on this map that you have to favor them so much?
Honestly, without hearing the comms, you got to go kind of what's on paper. I think it's a good 1-2 punch combo between Avexys and kind of Icy. Yeah, you got to sprinkle Rush and DeToX in there because those are the guys that are kind of playing very, very important spots. Rush is in one of the worst spots in the world, in my opinion, that secondary, where your job is to honestly survive the chaos as long as possible. You're possibly going to be the first one to die. You're going to be the first one to try to push up to solidify eliminations, things like that. DeToX is kind of the anchor towards the back, but it flows through Icy and Avexys. Like I said, Avexys is going to be the IGL of the squad, taking the reins in that host spot. He's going to see a lot of that information. And like I said in previous weeks, Icy plays that flex spot towards the backside where he's going down low or up top. As long as Avexys and Icy are on the same page, you see Rise, they get aggressive towards the top side, whether they're pushing across to get eliminations, getting DeToX, that sniper, or simply putting Icy down low to create some confusion. They're usually the ones that are starting off these rounds, that are really keeping the other team guessing. So Hive, even though you came out flat in map number 1, you really need to, like I said, forget it happened and start off fresh. Like, this is map number 1, and then you 3-0 Rise right after.
I was looking at the stats for Execution. You have to favor Rise just across the board. They're incredible. Icy sits at a 3.28 KDA, Avexys 3.53 KDA, and it gets even better with Rushiez at 3.69 KDA. Surprisingly, it falls off with DeToX at 2.89, but you have to respect his KD, though, which is actually the highest in terms of the rest of his roster at a 2.0. So he is consistently picking up the majority of those eliminations. Hive stats aren't too bad, though. You know, I was looking at them in terms of their execution stats. You have 2 distinct players with their KDA being above 3.0. That's Solurs and Demise. And mind you, Solurs is at 3.75. He is getting very, very close to breaking that 4.0 mark. If he does that, that is going to be very impressive. I don't know if anybody has broke the 4.0 mark. Maybe Monkeys during Split 2 Phase 1, because Split 2 Phase 2, he wasn't as successful in terms of the stats, but that's because PK was across the board starting to step it up and really assist him and take those eliminations away, which fair enough. But INZEM is going to be, I guess, the problem point. He's at 1.96. His KD is 1.2 or 1.23. Why would INZEM kind of be on the lower tier for the Hive roster? Is he just because like his DNA is more support oriented, or maybe he's not as strong execution historically?
I mean, I feel like he kind of plays those 1v1 spots. I know on checkout, he's kind of out wide, so that can kind of tell a little bit of the tale. But right now, you got to think it's kind of the team as a whole. A lot of these guys are kind of leading the charge, like TJ. They're getting those eliminations. They're picking up the kills. Then you got to mix it in with staggering deaths in certain scenarios and things like that. So I don't think necessarily, even though he kind of is falling behind, especially from what we know he can perform, but I think that there's a few excusable reasons that go into it. So I'm not digging too deep into that stat line.
All right, well, let's go ahead and hop into the matchup where Rise has to be favored here. And Hive going to be matching that 4-man split. So we're going to have a 4v4 up top. Player 8 might break off, though. That's Icy. He does like to break off and kind of go down to cave and get his hands on those frags if he can. But Hive is making the first breakout attempt. Rushiez going to be at the forefront. Good stuns, but Rushiez doesn't connect, unfortunately. And that value he could have gained now goes to the wayside.
Yeah, but Solurs found a way to sneak out that sniper. TJ goes down. INZEM falls as well. You almost got to figure out when do you go ahead and let these players get eliminated. Demise goes down. They're running across. Big headshot being fired out by Solurs. That was a must-hit shot to even it up 3v3. And that kind of turned the tables massively because now they can go out wide for the turbo. They can set up down low for angles. They can make sure Rise doesn't get those frag grenades. They just need to play their cards right.
All right, it's been a long one. We might be inching closer towards the overtime plays here, depending on how... Oh, no, INZEM hits some phenomenal shots, but can't get the finish. Finally, Solurs is able to help out, brings it down to a 3v2. DeToX in no man's land, and so is Avexys. This round could end here very shortly, and it does. It was a long standoff, a big battle, and again, I go back to, I think it was Icy, if I'm not mistaken, right, who kind of missed those big shots on the Hive as they were pushing up?
Yep. Like even in the spawn right there, in the spawn, yeah, it was Icy. There was some big shots, like you said, where they took too much damage too early on in the fight, and they weren't on the same page, and they kind of let that one slip through. But you got to give it up to Hive. Solurs figuring out a way to sneak out the sniper, and then those players online staying alive. That's going to be the big one.
All right, round number 2. All 4 members still up once again. Player 8, Icy, maybe inching towards those frags, but chooses to rotate back up. With Hive having 4 members up here, it's tough to send a player down for those frags because as soon as those frags are picked up, Hive knows it's going to be at a mismatch and they might push forward. Icy has been tagged up, but he's still going to continue for the flank. So Icy's got a do or die spot here, but Solurs picking up the long shot is great. Hive picking up a lot of eliminations himself. Avexys will fall. Now Icy, who did go on that flank, unfortunately now is going to die off. And that's the risk you run, right, Jacob? When you send a player on the flank and he gets spotted and you know it's a mismatch up top, that team with the man advantage is going to push forward.
That's exactly what you got to do. And it's not only in execution, but it's controls as well, even though it's much more exploitable in execution. When you have that man advantage, timing is such of the essence. You need to go because when you allow that team to backtrack, get together, set up defensively, or figure out a way to turn the tables, you're just giving away these rounds on a silver platter. But for Hive right now, they're almost doing everything right. INZEM even gets a big down on the Rushiez. Multiple flashes from both teams to try to stop that kill from going through. Sniper being played for. Solurs gets out for now. 2 big downs coming through. Is he going to be the hero? DeToX gets through, but he doesn't get the elimination. That was a big stop from the rest of the teammates of Hive.
And all 3 rounds, we're on the 3rd one currently. Solurs has picked up the long shot every single time. They are prioritizing that. Typically, it's DeToX getting in and out, but he has not been able to touch it as of yet. The push from Rise is coming forward. Taking down Solurs would be step 1. Not going to happen. Solurs is playing absolutely incredible. I mentioned his stats. The highest in terms of execution stats across the board for Hive with the 3.75 KDA, and he is a great example. He is exemplifying that, currently 6-3.
This is where... See the hill. I like where the hill goes down low. You kind of see it there if it does pop up. But honestly, that hill popping up, it's almost so rare at sometimes that you can't really kind of expect to kind of play for it that late in the game, especially with how aggressive both of these teams are going. And I talked about, and I built up Rise to be a real powerhouse on this map, but I do think they're kind of getting taken advantage of. That's why you see Icy and the rest of the team playing down low, big shots being fired off. Melee is going to register, and instead of going for those nades, he's going for that quick frank play. TJ is trying to do something, and he's getting some help, so Icy needs to be careful. And like I said, nades are not picked up just yet. TJ goes down up top. That's going to be the opener. 4v2 advantage. And if Hive does not go forward now, they're going to slowly lose this round. That's going to be a big trade. That is big.
Huge. Snipe in hand. If he can connect, bring it down to a 2v2, that's massive. You got to be cognizant, though, of the flank. Big body shot. I don't think they know that flank is there. That's player 8. Solurs looks like he's peeking it, but I think Icy Oh, yeah, it's not going to matter. Demise is going to fall. Solurs going to create that spacing. Let's see if he hits that ball. He tried to go for the reaction shot, but Icy takes him down. There was a glimmer of hope for Solurs once he picked up that big elimination on DeToX, but from that point forward, Rise was successful in the collapse, and that's an important round for them to win. Hive could have been up 4-0, and Rise, they're not comfortable yet, but at least they're not being shut out from this point forward.
Yeah, but honestly as well, this is how you kind of build momentum. You kind of catch on to their strategy. I can maybe expect another down low round to come out from Rise, but maybe not as well, because this isn't the most advantageous positioning for that down low compared to up top, even though you do have that right hand. But already you see the difference of strategy coming out from Hive. TJ's not taking that line right away because they want to look down low safely right out the gate.
All right. See how round number 5 unfolds here. Still that 4v4. Icy is going to choose to stay with this team this time, which could pay dividends depending on how Hive plays this. They have been very aggressive going for the long shot. So if I'm Rise, I'm going to be thinking very strongly about how to counter Solurs specifically when he pushes up for that long shot. If you can take him down with how well he's been slaying out, you could have a tremendous advantage. TJ, utility in hand, and he's going to go ahead and sling it out. That's the smoke. And nobody from Rise has been marked yet, but this is going to tip off TJ to push forward with Solurs.
That's the biggest thing right now from Hive. This is something you usually see with DeToX going after that sniper from Rise when they're up. DeToX goes down. I don't know if Revive came through, but Avexys and Icy, they both fall as well, but it's Icy's going to be the last one there. He goes taken out. I got confused there for a moment through all that action, but Hive, once again, it honestly looks like they're stealing these plays out of Rise and perfecting them on their own, because like I said, in earlier Clocktower matches, it was a lot of plays being made for DeToX. Obviously, he had some help as well for that sniper, whether they're going forward after they picked it up or backtracking, but in the end they were going for it and making those moves. But it's now Hive. I think they've been watching and practicing a lot for this occasion.
They've just put all their eggs in one basket. 4 players up top, 4 players focused on getting Solurs out with the long shot. This is the first time we're actually going to see INZEM even face off or even look into the eyes of Icy down low. This battle has not taken place yet, and Icy fills an opportunity to go for the frags. If I'm him, I'm eating one up. I'm trying to break up the Hive roster, getting them away from that tree, but either way, he does get away. INZEM is going to continue to try and go for the flank, and Icy still has 2 frags. That's going to be one needed out. There's the second. Let's see if they connect.
Ooh, I get the idea behind it. They wanted to try to take their 3v2 with the frags, but it just doesn't seem like the best choice. INZEM slowly taking a side, 5-1. This is not something I expected at all coming through from Hive on map number 2. The possibility for them to take it, yeah, I thought it could have squeaked through if the off chance, but right now they're just dominating Rise. Like I said, they took a page out of their playbook and just inserted it into their own. They're perfecting it beyond belief. Right there, like I said, INZEM playing it perfect, and Rise just going too fast for their own good.
Yeah, and it speaks volumes about Hive's ability to remain, poised, have that composure. They just lost in the worst way possible on Control District, 353. But now they're looking to take one of the best execution maps off of Rise in return. And if they can do it in a fashion of 6-1, that is a beatdown that is equal to 353, especially when you think about the caliber and how well Rise plays this map. So Hive is making a statement. They're trying to take that momentum back in their favor, and they're about to do it. Rise needs to step it up, but I don't know if it's too late already.
Oh, he's going for it. They're going back to what works. Big first blood on the TJ. Demise goes down as well. No one's going to be there to revive him as INZEM takes the charge, trying to find some sneaky elimination. Solurs gets one, but that's where it ends. Rise win their second round here. Have to play to perfection to go up 2-0 here.
So a lot of things went differently this round. Okay, we see, obviously that 1v1 down low or excuse me, that was the last round. My bad. I'm out of my mind. Whenever INZEM went on that flank challenge and then took them out and then took the 5-1 lead. But I think the biggest difference here, obviously, though, and it's kind of always just pretty obvious and out there, was the fact that DeToX finally did what he's been successful on against countless other teams on Clocktower. He took initiative and went for the long shot instead of giving it up for free to Solurs.
I see INZEM kind of moving up. You can't take too much damage too early. You can't. That was their only smoke being thrown out from Hive, I do believe. That was their own team smoke to try to stop them from pushing forward. Solurs going for it yet again, but he gets taken out. They know it's coming. TJ goes down to the backside as well. No revive to come through. Both of the players of Hive are pushed extremely far back. Demise with a misroll. He gets taken out. Rushiez with the perfect angle. And this is going to be a second round in a row for Rise, but it's not over yet. Like I said, you have to play perfect, and that means a 6-5 victory.
But the thing is, the thing that's been working for Hive is, again, Solar or TJ and Solars pushing up, chain reviving and getting away with the long shot. They tried it there, but Rise finally found a way to counter that strategy. Now that Hive's main strategy has been countered pretty decisively, I think that was a flawless round for Rise. Does Hive continue to try that strategy over and over again? It worked before, it worked in several other rounds, but does Rise now have the advantage? I don't know. We're going to have to see how this round plays out, but the reality is for Rise, they should have done that a long time ago, and I don't know why they didn't.
And sometimes you start a little slow. You gotta, after a map number 1 like that, maybe you just get a little bit of a big head, you get a little bit of an ego, I should say, but I do believe it's kind of like 1 smoke each. It's going to be both kind of like the down low players, maybe even 2 for the side of Hive. Big smokes. I don't think there was any big marks. That's all Rushiez all the way. They're trying to get out with the sniper. Maybe a little ill-advised. Players going down. I don't think DeToX escaped with it, so that's not going to be good. Icy's still taking a lot of damage. He gets downed out. They get the elimination, but they get greedy. Give them a major advantage over to Hive, and at the wrong time, Avexys falls. They're on snap point here. 1 step away from tying it up. Rushiez needs to be the hero. Big shots against Demise. No down coming through, and TJ chases it till the very end. Hive will close that round out and close out the map 6-3.
Ooh, well done for Hive. Talk about answering back. They almost beat them 6-1, but they didn't. But I digress. A lot to break down from execution. We have to talk about the other maps, Escalation, Control, and Execution. We'll do that when we come back. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Gears Pro League Split 3, Day 5. We've already seen 2 maps take place. We're deadlocked 1-1 in the series between Rise and Hive. And again, shout out to Hive for coming back and taking Clocktower, a map that Rise plays very, very well. But they did, at least for me, they did something Rise normally does very well, and that's fight for the long shot. A TJ as in conjunction with Solurs. Getting up there, chain reviving, getting away with that long shot consistently was just honestly something that, in my opinion, broke Riot, but maybe I'm wrong. What do you think, Jacob?
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head in terms of Hive being the first, attacking that sniper, and even when they weren't, they would get that first blood. So it was kind of one or the other for them. And Rise, they weren't for the majority of that match, I should say. They weren't doing anything that we've seen them do up until this point on that map. They weren't aggressive for the sniper. They weren't aggressive over the top. It seems like they were kind of matched in terms of their energy from map number 1, a complete and utter destruction over Hive, followed by what could have been a 6-1 scoreline. Yes, it was 6-3 at the end, but barring those 2 moments, that was all Hive all the way, and they put the pressure on. So going into this next map is really going to be the test, because Hive, a team that's really been building themselves, the new look, go back to Escalation versus Rise, a team honestly, as of recently, have not been the best on that mode either. So honestly, coming into map number 3 with the momentum over towards Hive, this could be anyone's game.
This is going to be scary, though, for Hive. You're going against Rise, which Rise has traditionally struggled on Escalation. But I'm looking right now at their stats. They played Escalation at least currently, I think, 4 times. So yeah, they've had 4 matches. You're going to play Escalation regardless, and they've won 3 out of the 4 times. They beat teams such as Pittsburgh Knights on training grounds. They beat Noble on Harbor. They beat Rebel on Harbor. Matter of fact, well, whatever. But let me say this, though. This is what makes it impressive to me, Jacob. The last 2 times they did play on Harbor, they won both times in a way of 5-0. So they've now currently are 10-0 on Harbor Escalation over the past 2 times they played it. Now, that is the big thing. So, yes, they have beat some teams, Noble, beat Rebel, which, speaking of which, they 5-0'd Rebel. Okay, now Rebel's been hot and heavy, right? We've been talking about how well they've been playing. So, Point is, Rise, in terms of escalation, Harbor is the best map in this rotation they could possibly play on.
No, I definitely do agree, especially, like I said, you add DeToX to the roster, they get a little bit more aggressive, they actually want to fight shotgun fights, not like they did it before, but you can kind of see the difference in their gameplay. That winch, that stern onto Harbor, it almost screams a Rise-style fight, but after I've seen from Hive in this one, even though the Rise does have a couple of good games under their belt, 10-0 on the map in their kind of recent performances, yeah, but who are they really beating? Rebel can kind of give that one, but even Rebel has faced some inconsistency issues on the mode as well. Not overall as a team, but on the mode specifically. So I don't think those previous matches are too much to kind of put your hat on, especially since you've already seen a slow start on the Clocktower execution map from Rise.
Right.
So today could be a sign. Maybe they're not firing on all cylinders. Maybe they're not playing at 100%. Maybe 98.7, but maybe not 100.
Well, let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this and give me your honest answer. Short answer, right? Rise versus Oxygen, Harbor, Escalation. Who do you think would win?
I gotta give it to. I want to go Rise.
All right, so fair enough. You give it the Rise. Well, Oxygen beat Hive 5-0 on this map last time they played on Harbor.
Told you, Rise. See, I'm just saying, Rise right now is about to win me a lot of money, even though I'm not really betting anything, maybe a couple of channel points in there, but I'd like to pretend. I'm in Vegas, you know, the betting capital of the world. I'm making a lot of money in my own mind. Pretend money.
Well, hey, you know one thing that I learned from Bala whenever I was doing some Valorant broadcast a while ago? Stats don't mean everything, okay? Stats don't mean everything. And bottom line period, whoever wants to win is going to win tonight. And Hive, great start. It was a bit of a standstill, though. We don't see battles take that long, really, especially on Winch, but fair enough, they do. Rise finds an opportunity to get onto B, but it's going to be short-lived. Look at Hive. They're all over the map, and Rushiez had nowhere to run.
Yeah, I like how they didn't get greedy either. Like, you see some teams get those eliminations. They try to get the home hill decapped, and then they kind of attack, but they realize they didn't stagger the deaths the way they should. They didn't get it as fast as they could, so they're not going to go ahead and go for it. They want to go for the neutral and slowly try to win this game. Big downs coming through from DeToX and Avexys to go ahead and get out Demise, but it's just for now. They have to set their eyes on that neutral, but nobody's down there to attack, so now they're just going to waste some time. Let Demise spawn back up before they make that attempt come through.
All right, scoreline very close. Rushiez continues to push forward. He's been in this spot just earlier when he was out-angled by 3 players from Hive, but it's going to be a bit safer this time because Hive doesn't have someone who's going to be on that winch side, right? So on that stern side, excuse me, and with no one being there, he's pretty safe to get inside. Now, for Hive, though, they're going to continue to pressure the issue, and they know they can because the other 2 Rise members are going to be distracted up top with Demise and co. Demise is going to fall Solurs by himself. Now, Solurs played incredibly well in execution. We know he can hold his own. Can he do the same here, though, in a 1v2? Well, that's one player down. He just about does it.
About the give and take, the push and pull. Hive with 2 hills yet again. That's big damage on the Rushiez as well. He just needs to buy some time right now for TJ to go ahead and let your teammates get into that position to help you. And right now, we talk about time. Rise needs to go. Big elimination on Icy. Don't tell me he's going to get a double kill. Reinforcements are there as well. No revive coming through. Demise. Oh my God. Almost gets taken out by Rushiez with the last Lancer bullet. He gets the down. They're going to be able to hold on to this hill. Round number 1 looking pretty nice for Hive.
Oh, looking great for Hive. Rise, they have mere seconds, and they've got to be on all hills at once. And it's looking like an impenetrable fortress. And I think Rise respects this. 5, DeToX doesn't even try and push up. This round is over with. Hive is going to strike first and give Rise their first L on a round on Harbor for the entirety of Split 3 Pro League.
Yep, so already you can kind of see. And like, I don't like to chalk it up to a team not performing well, even though you can kind of think, you know, you look at recent matches of Rise into this one. I feel like I said, they're not necessarily 100%, but that's not Hive's fault. They're doing a good job of capitalizing on everything that's given to them. Every mistake Rise is there. There's somebody from Hive waiting to get the elimination, waiting to get the positioning. And soon enough, once these weapons are on the field, they're going to be waiting for that opportunity to slip up. They're going to get those big power weapons as well.
All right, this is looking like a competitive series already. Well, I mean, we're already tied up 1-1 after all. If Hive can win this escalation, there's a good chance we can be seeing a Game 5 because I don't know how Control is going to go per se, but you can actually even argue to the fact that maybe this is a must-win for the boys of Hive because they did lose that control in a very convincing fashion. You don't want Rise to be up 2-1 heading into yet another control, but we have a lot of Harbor still to be played out. This time around, it's going to be a bit more concise, you'd have to think, as Hive starts off fresh, taking down DeToX, IC, and Avexys. They're going to be in a tough spot, too, because Demise, he's getting that chip damage in and giving the confidence for Hive to push up. This could be a quick round.
Be a quick round indeed. You already see them attacking, trying to get the decap onto the hill. DeToX needs to play this perfect. He can't go in there and die and begin to stagger the death, but already you see that's going to be TJ setting his eyes from that neutral hill. Multiple players getting taken out and no movement coming through from IC. Triple cap domination. Hive 2-0. Continuing to build off the momentum from map number 2 in the same fashion that they did in map number 2 as well.
Man, yeah, looking good. 2-0 lead so far, and somebody on Rise with no eliminations. They have 3 assists, though, so fair enough. They're still putting in the work. Now, at this point, though, you know, we look at the Harbor earlier between E United and Digital Gaming. E United had the lead, but they still placed the frags. Now, for Rise, they don't have the lead. Do you think maybe shake things up a little bit, play something on Winch, play something Stern? I would have been a fan of that. You've already lost 2 rounds in a pretty convincing fashion. This 3rd round shouldn't theoretically be any different. Yeah,
I agree with you. Maybe they should have took a page out of United's playbook, put those frag grenades in the center, M-bar, whatever it may be. But for Rise, honestly, you don't want to do it too soon. You want to give yourself time to come back from a deficit. But so if they lose this round, that's when I think things might switch up. So hopefully they'll put that shock. So this initial is going to be so important. Avexys going to get first blood onto TJ. Downs being traded through, and the eliminations going in way of Hive. But at the very last moment, 2 downs coming through. Icy's going to be the last player alive, and this is where he's going to go for this elimination instead of the hill, which is important. But Rushiez goes down. Solurs makes the play.
Yeah, Solurs made the play when he needed to make the play. He understood the longer that I keep this at a stalemate, I'm going to get out-angled from Stern. Icy was working his way down to Lancer him out, but Solurs took the initiative, took the fight early enough, so he was able to take down Rushiez and then ultimately secure Bravo. He's already going to be back into a 1v1 against Avexys, as Avexys takes the 1v position. Interestingly enough, typically it's going to be Rushiez there, but Avexys takes the initiative. He's in, but he doesn't get the trade. He's going to be finished off. Player 3 will take him down, and B stays in the hands of Hive. And speaking of which, player 3 is going to go ahead and full send for an overextension.
INZEM doing a good job bouncing around, staying alive. Gets the down on INZEM as well, but not going to be any more than that. Icy overextending, spots that player over the cover. Great use of the camera angle. That's where you see the other 3 members of Rise kind of setting their eyes on towards that neutral. Demise putting a lot of damage out on towards Avexys. Needs to be careful here. Down coming through. That's your time to escape, but he's going to actually use the flash, stay in the fight, and get taken down. A little ill-advised, but that's what happens in the moment. You're not able to slow things down when you want. So Rise is going to solidify that neutral and start their comeback. And they desperately need to start gaining these points to come back.
Yeah, they do, because Hive is about to take a 3-0 lead. You don't want to put them in that kind of a position. And I know Rise isn't going to be phased by being down, but, I mean, you're down 3-0 with Hive playing the way they're playing. You're forced to place a power weapon. You said maybe not place it now, but for sure they're placing something, a long shot or an M-bar next round, because just this fight is clearly not working. Now, granted, they do take the win condition back. They have the 2-1 in their favor, but already DeToX is being out-angled, not only by TJ, but he's got 2 players of Hive in front of him.
He has some help in towards the center, but actually, no, it's a sneaky play going through. Avexys wants to create disruption and neutralize any point gained from Hive, and that creates players to backtrack for him. You already see that's going to be Demise trying to get that Lancer angle. Over the top is going to be TJ as well. It's all going to be about angles. Avexys does go down, but how much damage has he done? He bought some time. 2 players rotating over, trying to get the decap onto that neutral, but they need the capture as well. Hive's going to be the only one gaining points here in this moment. Elimination's going their way as well. 2 players dead. Triple cap domination sounding off. Solurs is going to complete it with that elimination. Hive 3-0. They have completely turned their series on their side and have begun to take control. And this is where I got to ask you, Chad. I know you asked me, do you want that big weapon down as much as I do?
Yes, I wanted it down last round, Jacob. I wanted to see it last round because, again, those first 2 rounds were pretty dominating in terms of Hive. You know, they looked incredible. Rise should have placed nades like United did. They should have placed something over in Stern. For me, that was almost a must-have. And at this point, they're losing the Stern fight. I want to see an M-bar or a lone shot placed just on the outside of or in between winch and dock. Like, that's where I think is the best place. But I guess not yet. They're going to go ahead and continue to play the game they've been playing with shocks. But again, I don't think that's the right play. I really don't.
Unless they're going to go like 3 people up top to Stern, maybe send a secret guy into the middle, go for a flank play. I don't agree with this at all. Coming through from Rise. Hey, they're undefeated. No shot grenade on the play for this one. Both Solurs and Rushiez are going to use their flash towards the top side. Hopefully Rise comes out a little bit better than rounds prior. Flash is one. The second flash to bounce off the cover. Positions being retaken little by little from Hive. Down over the top from IC. DeToX goes down as well. Another initial going in way of Hive.
Oh, man, yeah. But you know what's not surprising? I mean, it doesn't surprise me anyways, because again, Rise hasn't been winning the rounds. You don't change anything up with the shock. The shock is cool, but you know you're not going to use it off the start. No one's stopping to pick up that shock because you know that 3v3 battle is going to be more influential. Rushiez is going to be out-angled. And by the way, great job from Solurs because he was the one who downed Rushiez. Nobody else was able to help him. TJ, though, from a side swipe, taking down one Hive, going for a domination.
And that shock surely helped you on this round, Taylor, didn't it? This triple gap domination there for a moment. Avexys gets stunned, unable to touch it 4-0. I don't want to say we cursed him, but we're literally talking about Rise. 2 harbors in a row, 10-0. Into this, you got 2 French fries in IC and DeToX, 1 kill apiece. It's not looking good. Talk about perfection needed. You need 5 straight rounds.
I mean, fair enough, though, for Rise that, you know, they've won 2 back-to-back harbors in Pro League 5-0s. Keep it consistent. At least still keep it 5-0, even if it's, you know, a 5-0 against you. You know, hey,
okay,
I'm okay with it.
Consistency
you know, but
is key.
Consistency is key. Well, Bulltox are in, no power weapon yet. Rise says it's a fresh half, and we're going to win this half. Well, let's see it. Player 3 will stop. Demise is going to pick up that shock where Rise is going to forego it once again.
I feel like they missed breakfast. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and they missed it. Honestly, their day is just not off to a good start for Rise, but Rushiez down low. It's going to be a 1v1. Shot grenades creating some separation. So already you see some teams creating some adjustments for the second half. INZEM going for an early capture to try to get themselves an early lead, but attack coming through Rise. They're trying to take over this wins. Being shots fired. DeToX goes down for a moment. Traded out, though, but Avexys gets revived. No trade coming through just yet. Cross, lots of downs, but no cleanups. Demise doing what he can. He even gets Bulltox down low from Rushiez. So Rise will win the fight on towards that wench. But like I talked about, that early capture, 20-point lead and counting already for Hive.
Rushiez is going to back up. Player 4 Solurs is opposite of him, and maybe Rushiez didn't want to take that 1v1. He allows Solurs to get up there and get a free decap for all intents and purposes. And when it comes down to Rushiez has been playing this 1v spot, even on the first half playing for Bravo. Rushiez hasn't been having a good time, you know, and a lot of times it's not on him entirely. It's on that Stern fight, and then he gets out angled, right? But Solurs is, I mean, who's been opposite of Rushiez, been playing absolutely incredible, not only in execution, but also here. So Rushiez been put in a very tough spot. Luckily, really Rise will win their home hill back, but I mean, Hive was able to take the neutral, and they have the point lead.
Anybody saying anything about Rushiez, I want to put you in this position. You play those same spots against a team like Hive. Yeah,
or against 3 players from Hive.
Because even on Clocktower, playing that secondary spot is just a nightmare. It's like you're born to die, and it's just like that's what your team wants you to do, but you don't want to die. You can't die to win the round, but this is going to be important right here. They need to come back. They need these points. Big Bulltox shots fired. Switching to a shotgun. DeToX is going to continue to try to dish out damage. Great shot, actually, to line that one up on TJ, forcing him back. But the INZEM gets one down. There's actually 2 being cleaned up. IC and Avexys both fall there for a moment. Quick revives. The neutral hill is going to be held on by Hive, and they have a little bit of a lead, and you can already see the overextension coming through from INZEM. So not only is he going to get the decap, he's going to get some shots on the side.
Oh, that's a tough break. Rushiez falls. Who's the last one? He's gone. This should be a domination. Hive is going to be, or should be, Rise is going to be off the respawn. IC is going to be there. INZEM's creating that spacing. You know the drill. It's just going to be Lancer Fire, 5-0 victory. Hive takes a dominating win, and 5-0's Rise, who, mind you, has 5-0'd everybody else since Pro League started for Split 3. Very well done. And you know, again, I want to go back to it. For everybody out there hating on Rushiez, it's not his fault. It's really not. He was put in a spot fighting for the 1v1 on Bravo, and for that spot to be successful, your team needs to be successful in, especially in the first half, your team needs to be successful in that stern fight, that big 3v3 fight. Time in and time out, Hive was winning that 3v3 fight, and Rushiez then was getting Lancered out. Bottom line, period. Plus Solurs, he was feeling confident to push up the way that he was playing that spot because his team was able to have his back and get his cross. That's why Rushiez had a hard time. So that just comes to show you, if an individual is struggling, it's not necessarily his fault. The rest of the roster needs to pick up that slack and give him some assistance and some help. But I think across the board, Rise as a roster played very poorly here. And they should have placed a power weapon down much earlier. They didn't even place one down. That, in my opinion, that was also another big mistake that Rise had.
They were just kind of, it looked like they were just going with the motions, kind of whatever was tossed at him, like, yeah, we'll just go ahead and take it. And that kind of makes me scared, but also curious, because they had a very, very dominant map number one on the control, and we can kind of see them on control. I don't want to say that's their bread and butter, but it looked like a little bit of a different team overall. So I'm interested to see, after two big losses, what was it, a 6-3, which could have been a 6-1, and a 5-0, will we see the same control style play from Rise? They're going to have to answer the call and start off fresh, like it's map number one, but it is going to be map number 4, and then they're going to have to continue that into a map number 5 if they want to take the series overall.
Things are getting interesting. We head into Control Reactor. We talked about, I mean, you can even see it there in the box score, 353 on District. That is the most decisive win I have personally witnessed, especially in Pro League. 100% in Pro League, that is the most decisive win. Now we head into Reactor Control. Plays differently than District, though, does it not, Jacob? You know, it's a little bit tighter in the corners. You have a lot more angles that you can kind of lock in terms of not being seen. You can play that sneaky man role. And not to mention, too, you have pretty decisive close quarter battles that are going to be taking place. So after seeing Execution, after seeing Harbor, what do we think the chances are for Hive now heading into a fresh Reactor Control?
Honestly, I think it's pretty high. You can kind of see they have the aggression down packed. They're working well together as a team. They just need to make sure when it comes to this control mode, don't stagger your deaths too much. Don't get in over your head trying to break through the defenses of Rise if a lot of that time is run off the clock. And then obviously this is 300. If you guys are going to kind of have a neck and neck match, this is going to distance. You're going to be playing this map for quite a while. So you need to make sure you have the mental stamina to not make too many mistakes and not get too greedy or desperate if this game does go the distance. I thought this could have been an easy 2-0 map lead over for Rise, but man, was I wrong. 2-1. Hive lead the series, one step away from closing this one out.
I mean, yeah, Hive is looking to create an upset, and it would be an upset. You know, I know there's a lot of Hive fans out there, but you look at the history of Hive, they have been struggling. They had that big upset when they played against Oxygen. Hive just hasn't been looking good. And from what I'm hearing, they haven't been scrimming and practicing as hard either. You have to scrim and practice, especially now in Split 3. I mean, it is an absolutely imperative. You can't skate by because you have these new game modes of Control and Execution 2.0. You have to practice. You have to be out there. You have to be seasoned. Escalation is one thing. Escalation's been played since the beginning of Gears 5 competitive. It was even played in Gears 4, right? So I think teams understand what Escalation is. It's a little bit easier to skate by, not scrim as much, and still, you know, put up a good showing, a good fight. But Control and Execution, you have to be seasoned there. You have to be practicing. You have to be pushing the meta. And I don't think Hive has been doing that. But for what it's worth, though, they can still pull off a big upset here. But Control, you have to think that's their weakest game mode, and they're about to go into it.
Nah, I got to agree with you just a little bit, but like we know, if this team can kind of hold on to those lower spawns on the side of Hive, begin to stagger the deaths of Rise, and honestly continue to do and follow the blueprint that you already set out up until this point. Obviously, it's on Escalation, Execution are your map victories, but you know how to stagger the deaths. You know how to get aggressive, and you know how to steal away those plans from Rise and kind of create it and adapt it into your own playstyle. So I'm going to need to see Hive really continue on where they left off. off. You did map number 2. You started off hot. You ended off even hotter. Same thing for map number 3. Now, one step away, one map away from closing off this series and taking away the undefeated record from Rise. That's going to be big for this mid portion of the season.
That's going to be massive. I mean, not only is it going to say, you know, or not only can you make an argument that Hive could be one of the better teams out there now in the pro league, it's also going to have a lot of questions now raised for that of the Rise roster. They were undefeated. They've had some big matchups, but now that we're starting to hit, you know, getting closer to mid-season, that's when, you know, we kind of even talked about it. I think, you know, in previous splits, we talked about it this split. You know, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And when teams get to that middle portion, teams start to kind of fall off because they become lackadaisical.
Oh my God, that headshot with the torpo right there, though. But I gotta agree with you. You gotta make sure, like, when it comes to like egos, in a sense, I'm going to break that down. When you're this good at the game, you almost got to carry some sense of an ego. You have to believe you're better than your opposition every step of the way. If Avexys trying to catch somebody off guard, get some sneaky splash damage on a Demise. Maybe he should have saved it though. Use it from right in front of him. Demise continues forward, gets that elimination onto DeToX, get the elimination and the cross angle from up top. Now Avexys is feeling that hurt, feeling the pain and pressure. He goes down once again. The hill goes right back on over to Hive. They already have the lead and they're looking to make it even bigger.
Absolutely, and that lead is going to get bigger. We see the next hill is going to be just up ahead. I think there's, yeah, Hive is already going to have one member there. Rise, they might be, oh, Solurs is on the flank. This is beautiful. He's not trying to get on that hill. He's flanking across the board, making Rise's life a living hell, and obviously helping them tremendously. Avexys is the only one inside that hill to challenge Solurs. Solurs, the hero. Again, he continues to impress me, not only from execution, but on escalation on Harbor, and even now in the beginning portions of Reactor control going into the second hill. He already has 6 eliminations. He's already been on a massive flank. He's keeping his head on a swivel. Solurs is that guy.
Rightfully so. I want to say one of the only players with a major championship on the squad, even though I kind of call that mid-split playoffs a little bit of a mini major, so everybody kind of has some sort of a title. Rushiez making sure to get that last bullet in there, get the down on the INZEM, but nobody's cleaning up the kills just yet. DeToX goes down, big crossfire coming through. Avexys tries to be the hero, he gets taken out. ICES gets one, big damage being traded off. Rise is there, Wolf packing together, but look how much time right now Hive was able to drain off of this hill and accumulate for themselves. About like 25, maybe 20 seconds left, and that's something Rise doesn't need, and that's why you see the rotation around the map. They're getting ready for the next hill and trying to hold the spawn point as well, but they're not going to make it to the spawn point. This is going to be an all-out war for this next hill as Hive gears up to be in position themselves.
Let me just say this, Ryan, if you're out there and you're listening, brother, this is the time where you tweet at Solurs with that one meme or that one image, excuse me, about the dude with the hoodie on. Like, because Solurs is being that guy, all right? This is your time. And he's done that tweet a million times for Solurs, and for good reason, because he just plays absolutely incredible. This push is going to be telling. Rise set up. They have the shock to close down the choke point. They also have the nades. If Hive breaks this hill despite the huge, massive firepower from Rise, it's going to be telling. That's a great torque though. 2 players out of the way. Hive is now knocking on the door to get this break.
That was massive. I think his teammate jumped trying to dodge the torque bow, got hit. That's 4 players dead. Another full hill, but luckily for Rise, they get the spawn towards the top side. They need to be careful, not get torque bowed again. A little bit of a wasted flash. They don't advance on it. Rushiez takes some damage. So does Avexys. That's a lot of damage being taken. Rushiez doing what he can, but he gets the... That was another torque bow. That was another torque bow by TJ to take out Rushiez. DeToX. He gets the down on a Demise. That's going to be the silver lining here, but it's still 3v3. Still a lot of defense coming through from INZEM and the rest of Hive. That is going to be key as they break through the enemy lines. Rise does, pushes forward, and both players going down. No revive coming through from Solurs. INZEM stuck between a rock and a hard place. 3 players dead from Hive as Demise turns and tries to regain here for the rest of his team.
And as we do have a lull, as the teams are going to be rotating, they're now split across one on the top portion of the map, one on the bottom portion. I do want to say Rise currently, when it comes to control, is undefeated. They have not lost as of yet on control. Now, fun fact for Hive, though, they have played a lot of control, typically always sending the series or the map to a Game 5. And they have played Reactor quite a bit, where Rise has literally not played in Pro League on Reactor as of yet. So the experience has to favor that of Hive. And also, too, when it comes to Reactor, Hive has beat VQ on this map 300 to 190. And they also have beat Oxygen on Reactor 300 to 282. They've only lost to E United on Reactor. So out of the 3 times they have played, Hive has won Reactor 2 out of the 3 times. So you got to favor the stats, at least over towards Hive.
Nice flash to get Avexys off that cover. 56 seconds left on that hill. That's enough to make this a good game with Rise, but I don't think with all that time left, I wants to give this up. You can almost think the communication coming through. No splash damage being fired off. 2 bows left in the chamber. Don't know how Hive is going to break through, but you can already see 2 members trying to push this top side of the map. They know Avexys is there with the torque bow, so they're just being careful, but they're just letting Rise get as much time as possible. Obviously not on purpose, but great shot towards the backside, but I might have spoke too soon. It was just a little bit of a distraction. Splash damage onto TJ. They want to clean up this kill. Another shot, but TJ survives. He's able to get the down onto 1. Chain revives coming through. No eliminations.
Yo, does Rushiez do this? No, but that Wolfpack was too much. But that fight was good. And that's a great representation of Rise and their ability to be able to just, I think, get the most out of the players they have alongside you. You know, the brothers in arms, they're getting those quick revives, the chain revives, in fact, and they make fights difficult if they're all on point. Rise did a good job rotating over for Fresh. This hill isn't going to be easy to break. Hive knows this, and Demise is being peppered.
It's one of those frustrating scenarios for Demise, trying to push up little by little, just gets taken out. Now they reset. Rise going to be able to rack up a little bit of time here, possibly even tie the game up for a moment before Hive makes this push, but a 1v1 for the spawn. Rushiez and TJ, this is going to be key right here if TJ does want to push it, but it's not going to be for free. And on the other side of the map, it is going to be a 3v3, but TJ is going to take the risk because he knows the reward is worth it. Backs down Rushiez on the other side. INZEM went down for a moment. Lots of damage being fired off. Great frag to connect with Icy. That's going to give the man advantage over to Hive, but instantly being set back. DeToX gets 1, but if Avexys goes down, Hive, they figure out a way to break through and get the hill. There's still 30 seconds left on this clock as well.
Yeah, and that's going to give them the lead once again. They're going to be on the edge of 200. Well, they'll probably leave a little bit earlier, but the point is they also picked up the torque, and Solurs gets the fresh frags. Now, INZEM has been deadly with this torque bow, Jacob. You know it. Avexys got to keep his head down. That splash damage is going to hurt, but he's going to be okay. He'll live a little bit. Rise prioritizing the mid portion of the map, and next is going to be just up ahead. So Rise at this point are focused on spreading themselves out and shutting down the lanes, but that's going to be a big elimination, and that's going to allow INZEM to... Oh, and a big elimination on Rushiez. INZEM is unstoppable.
I thought he had another ball. I was like, hey, he got 3. He got 2 right there. Yeah, definitely going to be the distraction towards the backside. That's going to be 3 kills basically in a row.
Such a good break.
Couple of shots there. That's 12 eliminations, 6 downs for INZEM. And that's what I'm saying. That stat line early on, it doesn't really matter too much because of how he plays. He's going to be that guy that's not afraid to make those risky plays. And he's that guy that ends up in the 1v1 scenario. So he's not able to kind of balance out those risky plays in execution. So on this one, Hive has the hill yet again off the back of INZEM. Avexys doing what he can. He got shocked out as well. He goes down, but traded through. She's able to take out Demise. So it's still a 1v1 for the spawn point towards the bottom half of the map. But Solurs, exactly. He checked him out the library, and he has a library card. I tell you what.
He definitely does. Support your local libraries. Okay. Yeah, that was something back in my day, bro. That was like always on TV or whatever. Support your local library, bro. You know, it's big things. Hey, for real though, read them like a book. Bottom line, period. And honestly, Hive again, you know, history, statistically, and we say stats aren't everything, but you know, historically, Hive is just the better team on this map.
And it seems like it. Through and through, and that's the one thing you notice about these elite teams, United, Rise right here. One of the things that you really notice when they're losing some of the matches is because they're not able to play together. They're getting staggered. Their deaths right now are just getting flying out the window as Demise tries to stagger the deaths yet again. 8 seconds left on that hill. TJ's trying to go forward. Gets another one. As you can see, they're just getting staggered left and right. DeToX is going to fall here in just a short moment if he plays his cards right. Trade coming through. So even though his death was staggered, that's the silver line. He took out TJ as well.
All right, we're getting towards the later portions of this match as Hive starts to inch their way closer and closer to 300 to close this series out with an upset of 3-1 against Rise. Their first loss in Pro League. Icy's gonna fall. Rushiez in dire straits as DeToX goes in for the... Oh, and the Frats will take out both. I don't see Hive losing this at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those matches you got to hand over on a silver platter. But just like you told me, after map number 1, United with a big lead, anything can happen. We've seen bigger comebacks before. Solurs does get taken out. That's kind of the start. Neutralize the hill as well. That's going to be number 2. Avexys putting things in motion for Rise. And there goes number 3 for Avexys as he completes the hat trick, taking control of this hill. And they have about 35 seconds left on the clock. They can get 190 and pull this within 1 hill to tie it up.
If Rise makes his comeback, though, I'm going to be impressed. I really am. With the way that Hive is playing, it doesn't seem like they want to lose at all. And honestly, losing Control Regency as they, or excuse me, Control District as they did 353, I think lit a fire underneath them. Plus, Fran telling, I think it was TJ who was in chat last night saying like, look, man, you guys need to start scrimming. What's going on with you? There's no way you beat Rise. And I'm in the same boat. I was like, Hive is not beating Rise today, but Hive might be beating Rise today, depending on how these next couple of hills go.
I'm looking right here. You see them trying to gear up for the next hill. They definitely have the spawn point towards the top. That crossfire, both players down. How's it good getting these revives come through? They got to be on the same page if they're going to run away, if they're going to be aggressive. And Avexys, he goes down on his last, and that's going to leave those 2 players there. Look how much damage was actually done. A couple of those players don't have any downs. DeToX trying to make a flank play, trying to make something happen, a surprise, and he gets taken down. Icy was going to get it down, unable to clean that one up, but they have to go. Use that as a distraction. They take out Solurs. They need to hold on to the spawn, though, at the same time. 2 quick kills from Rushiez, exactly what Rise needs, but their timing, it's not on their side. It's going to go out the window if they take too long.
Yeah, it might go out the window. Time is not of the essence currently for Rise. They've got to capitalize on every single point, every hill, every rotation, power weapons. I mean, quite literally have to be flawless from this point forward because Hive, even if they get scrap time, it's going to be GG. Rise knows this and they understand it. Luckily, Rise has surpassed the 200-point mark, trailing behind by about 79 or 80. But at this point, though, Rise really can't even focus on like catching up to Hive. That's not the point here. The point is to cap out at 300. Rise knows this. And again, they have to be flawless from this point forward. Hive, though, has rotated early, and this is going to be a problem and an issue, quite honestly, for Rise, because Rise hasn't been doing as good of a job as Hive when it comes to breaking the defensive setups. So DeToX is going to be instrumental here with his 4 bolts.
I'm trying to see what anybody on Hive kind of has on their side. It's going to be INZEM. Basically, INZEM versus DeToX here. Who's going to make the bigger play for their squad? INZEM. Gonna be that player on the screen. Frag grenades coming out, flashes as well. I don't know if they're going to be able to connect. Avexys goes down, but it comes at the cost of a trade. They're going to be standing in the hill. Frag grenade number 2, going to be able to dish out, unable to connect, but they have to stay in the hill. They have to keep this one contested because where INZEM at, he's in a sweet spot. Torque ball on the ground. There's going to be some splash damage, but great reaction shot from TJ. INZEM takes out Rushiez as well. The last few seconds, less than 10 remaining. Like I'm counting down New Year's 2022. 7 seconds remaining. Rise have to go. Avexys falls. I see full red. He gets taken down as well. 2 players remaining. Less than 2 seconds left on the clock. Happy New Year. The game is over. Hive close it out 3-1.
And Rise will suffer their first loss in Gears Pro League. Split 3. They were 4-0 going into this series. Well, now their record will be 4-1 and therefore more manageable for the teams that are below them to catch up. But for Hive, hey, good on them. After losing the first map district Control 300-53, the worst loss in Control we have seen yet, they turned things around. Execution Clocktower 6-3 victory, Escalation Harbor 5-0 victory, and then to round it off, Control Reactor 300-213. They win the series 3-1. Hive, very well done, Jacob. They played out of their minds. And Solurs, the hoodie Solurs, baby, he's back.
Yeah, he's definitely back. You can kind of see it, but INZEM there. INZEM was just lights out. Everybody on that team, TJ was just a slaying powerhouse with the shotgun. They just were not losing that game. Rightfully so. They did everything in their power to kind of find their new style, their new play, how they work together. And it just instantly works out for them. Undefeated, no more.
Undefeated no more. Tough break, but hey, it is what it is. We know that when it comes to the season getting more mature in terms of, the teams getting a little bit more sound, finding their strong points, fixing their weak points on control and their execution on a map-to-map basis. For Rise, now we see a weak point for them. What is it? It's Reactor control. This is the first time they played Reactor control in Pro League, and for the first time, obviously, it doesn't go very well. They end up losing, and Hive played this very, very well. Their torque bows were on point, the abilities to use the frags to get those and frags here, too, are huge. Frags are massive on this map because of how open the hills can be, and also how close together, your team could be, especially if you're all four inside that hill. The frags could just, the splash damage alone is going to be deadly. But Hive finds a weak point in Rise, and they prove everybody wrong. They prove everybody wrong, because I know everyone came into this series thinking Rise was going to win.
And they either won all their maps off host, all their picks, or they won all of Rise's picks. Either way, Hive, man, after what was, I want to say, a moment that was kind of scared when they picked up Hefe there for a moment, didn't necessarily match their squad, but Demise, honestly, like I said it, the moment they picked him up, the